Hey everyone, this is Julian from Memory Cards, and I'm here today with Jake.
Hey, what's up?
We're just playing some Call of Duty, and we wanted to talk about the Game of the Year nominations, which just were released today. Mario Odyssey, then we
Mm-hmm.
got Breath of the Wild, Zelda,
Yep,
Horizon Zero Dawn,
yep,
PUBG,
yep,
Persona 5.
yep.
What do you think of that?
Uh, I can already tell you right off the bat, Persona 5 is like if I were to vote, that would be my pick.
Uh huh.
That was my favorite game of the year so far. I mean, it's mid-November. I'm pretty
Right.
sure it's safe to say you can call it. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed Mario obviously and Zelda obviously, but there was just something about Persona, especially when you put into account like bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Like, so
That's a
Persona,
really like deep and long game, right? There's a lot
yeah,
going on in it.
exactly, exactly,
I've
exactly.
never really played the Persona games. I know that you've on multiple occasions told me I should get into it and how good they are. I've watched some friends play it in the past, and it's been something that I've never given a real shot, and for that,
Yeah,
I feel like I haven't been doing great in that regard. Just because I know that they're supposed to be fantastic games and good JRPGs, great storytelling.
one thing that I always say though is you have to be willing to put a lot of time into it because those games are friggin' humongous.
Yeah.
Like, I think it took me somewhere like 100 hours or more to beat Persona 5, and I still
Hmm.
haven't even 100%ed it or anything.
Wow, that's a that's crazy. Like, and so compared to the other games that are out, you Persona 5 is your pick, and I feel like that is gonna not your pick in particular, but just the fact that the games that they included Persona 5s is interesting.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously
I
pretty
agree. Yeah,
critically.
I don't think I've ever seen another Persona game on a Game of the Year award list or anything.
Yeah, definitely.
But I
Um,
mean, there's only like a Persona game like once every 5 or 6 years. So
wow. Yeah, this being nominated definitely makes me want to try it. And I don't honestly put much stock into the Game of the Year stuff. It's
no, me
like
neither.
the way that like that thing operates and the way the industry operates is a little weird to me. And
Well, it just seems to be the Game of the Year award doesn't really mean jack shit anymore because every single publisher will do a Game of the Year edition for their game, regardless of if
that's a
they
good
get a
point.
game of. Yeah,
That's a fucking good point. Uh, yeah, I feel like even if a game doesn't win Game of the Year, they still somehow get a Game of the Year edition.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, and it's interesting because for a long time, like Game of the Years have always been like big AAA releases, right? Like you
hmm
got your Skyrims and you got your I don't know if Call of Duty has ever won, but
I'm
maybe
sure
a
it has.
Battlefield game has won. Um, but it's interesting that this year there's actually a game there that has never been fully released yet, and that's PUBG.
Yeah,
Um,
so there's a lot of I guess,
Controversy.
yeah, around that being on there.
Yeah, because
And
it's a game still in early access.
yeah, it hasn't even passed its 1.0 yet. Like it's still, I think it's like 9, 0.98 or some shit.
Yeah, which is it's crazy to think that a game that hasn't had a full standard release
Can even
is
be eligible.
can be eligible for Game of the Year, and that's part of the reason why I think that people shouldn't put too much stock into the Game of the Year awards themselves, and
For
because
sure.
it's obvious that PUBG's on there just because it's an insanely popular game, and
Yeah.
that even and once it does see a full release, it's just going to gain in popularity, and
Yeah.
that
Especially once it gets on
yeah,
Xbox, depending on how
exactly,
the port is.
exactly. It is scheduled for Xbox release sometime soon. I think I don't know if it's going to make it out
December
this year.
12th, I think.
Oh, okay, so it is scheduled to come out this year.
Yep. Got a release
Um,
date at Paris Games Week.
oh, okay. I missed that one. Anyway, so yeah, that's on there. And me and you both have never played PUBG, so um,
Nope. The closest we've come is being
Fortnite.
awful at Fortnite.
Yeah, God, so bad. Um, but yeah, we've never really played PUBG, and so I can't speak on like how
I
that
would like to
game.
play it though. You know, I watch a bunch of streamers and stuff play it, and it looks like a fun game. It looks
Yeah,
like a really good game.
it does. It does. It does look like a lot of fun, and mine and I believe yours first experience playing that type of battle royale game was in Fortnite, and Fortnite is a ton of fun, and
Yeah,
Fortnite is pretty much a carbon copy of um, of PUBG.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, PUBG's on there. Interesting that it's there. Kind
I
of
don't think it should
controversial.
be there, to be honest.
No, I don't think it should be either. And
Because I mean, that's like putting, a beta.
yeah,
'Cause that's
dude,
essentially what it is.
kind of is. Yeah. Um, and then you have Horizon Zero Dawn, which we both played a little bit of.
Yeah,
On
just
PS4.
got bored of it. Like, sadly, I think because of when that came out, I had just got my Switch, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna play Zelda. I'm gonna go back to Zelda.
Yeah, I think that game is kind of a victim of its release date. It did originally come out around the same time the Switch came out, in
Yeah, I
around
think of a week before the Switch came out and
yeah,
Zelda.
and yeah, which means Zelda came out right there. And while they are very similar games in a lot of aspects, they are also very different games.
Yeah.
Obviously, Horizon Zero Dawn is a more mature game for mature audiences, and Zelda is colorful and pretty and more childlike. And we'll get to Zelda in a second, but for Horizon Zero Dawn, I feel that I think I would have enjoyed that game more had it not come out at that same time as Zelda.
Yeah, like let's say it came out when that expansion pass just came out, like last week or something.
Yeah, like it's because
That would have been a great time.
yeah, I agree. It's really hard to experience that game for what it is, knowing that you have the option to play Zelda. It's kind of like shitty
Yeah.
to say that, but
And
like
I'm sure we'll catch some flack for that.
yeah, absolutely. But I can say this about Horizon Zero Dawn. There were moments playing that game where I was kind of blown away,
Yeah.
and I
Just the whole I guess brevity is the right word to use there. The entire scope of the game was just huge.
yeah, it's a big game, and the environments are really well done, and they do something really cool in which they combine like this prehistoric world with
Big
like
robot.
super futuristic technology, and makes
Yeah.
big robot dinosaurs that you can like ride and make your friends,
Yeah.
and that's great.
I did enjoy the game. It's just I'm gonna have to eventually go back to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I will go back to it next year.
Yeah.
It's just, I think as we said, it's a victim of when it came out. But
And
great
that could
storytelling.
be good for some other people though, right? They could be like, well, it came out at a perfect time for me, which makes perfect sense once again.
Yeah,
It just
absolutely,
depends on what games you're into, all sorts
for
of stuff
sure,
like that.
for sure. So yeah, there's Horizon Zero Dawn. I think as much as there's great things about the game, we can't speak on it like completely because
No.
we both didn't really fully experience it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so the two big ones, Mario and Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough decision.
I feel like we can kind of speak on them in the same breath because they are quite similar to each other in the sense that Mario and Zelda, it was their first fully open world games each, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, would you consider Mario being open world? I mean,
I would consider each of the worlds that you spawn in on are open world, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
consider
that's
it
true.
like 100% open world.
yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, what we can say is that like this is the first Mario game where you can be in a world without time constraints, without constraints to a certain objective. Everything is open-ended. Each world has
Well,
instead
Galaxy was quite similar to that too, but Galaxy was on a much smaller scope.
yeah, and in Galaxy you still chose, like when you would go into a world, you would still choose like the star that you were going after, right?
Oh, really? I
Yeah, I
haven't
think
played
so.
it in years, like 10 years.
I'm pretty sure that you still. Yeah, no, I'm like 100% positive actually that in that game you would choose like a lumen, right? They're called that in
Okay.
that game. And then that's what that would be your objective. So it's very similar to Mario Sunshine. It followed that same formula of choosing your objective before you load into a world and
Yeah.
then having to stick to that objective.
Mhm.
Odyssey is open world in the respect that you can exist in those worlds and then do so without constraints, and you can
Yeah.
collect the objectives at your volition, which is great. And then you have Zelda, which is entirely open world on a level
Mhm.
that Zelda hasn't been before. They've
No, it
certainly
hasn't.
had. They're like, I think Zelda games previous to this have been like open world light in a way.
Yeah, like Wind
Um,
Waker.
Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and even Ocarina and the ones before that, they've all been quote unquote open world, right?
Mhm.
But even so, I always felt myself, and I think I might have mentioned this in another video. I feel like I've talked about it before, but that I've always felt like Zelda still had constraint, and you were still kind of guided and locked into something.
Yeah.
And that you don't feel that at all with Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is like massive and completely open. You can go right from the beginning area when you finish the tutorial. You can go anywhere in the whole place, pretty much.
Yeah.
The whole world, which is incredible, and that's where the decision lies. Because I mean, I think that playing Zelda Breath of the Wild for the first time this year was very cathartic and a very like eye-opening, blissful experience. I was completely overwhelmed.
Well, if I remember correctly, that was like you. That's like the first Zelda game that you've truly enjoyed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I like how our team
Never been a
completely
huge
didn't
fan
go
of
to
Zelda.
A.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's not that I haven't been a fan of Zelda. It's just that,
Never got into them.
yeah, it's just like I appreciate Zelda games, but I've never been like able to play a bunch of one and enjoy it really. I feel like the one that I've gotten closest to was Twilight Princess, and other
Yeah.
than that, I've never been really able to get into them. So, so this was a very different experience for me. I completely loved Breath of the Wild, and very, very, very worth its Game of the Year nomination, I think. And I think really with these other three games, what it comes down to is who's going to come out on top, Mario or Zelda. Like I don't think that
it's either of those. It's not going to be anything else.
no, like as much as people might think that there's going to be the underdog pick or Persona that might win, or somehow PUBG will come out on top, which I don't think is possible.
Well, like something that I've also learned recently, I don't think that the voting really matters that much because they still have a jury to, decide on who truly wins. So like your vote, I guess maybe they'll have like the population vote or like the players vote where they'll say, well, you guys voted for this, but we think this is better or something.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So yeah, what it comes down to is Mario and Zelda, and what people are going to decide there. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think it's going to be Zelda.
Yeah, me too.
Because
Just because it took so many risks from.
yeah. And I think Zelda's like, as much as in Odyssey is a perfect game. Like there's very, 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 very little that people can find negative to say about Odyssey, I think. And most reviews that you'll read online are glowingly positive,
Yeah.
But the same could be said about Breath of the Wild. And I think what it comes
Well,
down
like-
to is like Breath of the Wild being released right when the Switch came out. It was launch exclusive, and it showed that Nintendo was making the changes that they need to make,
And if you remember back when the Switch and Zelda first launched, they actually ended up selling more copies of Zelda somehow on the Switch than they did Switches themselves. Which
That's
I
just
still
crazy.
don't like. Why were people just buying the copies of Zelda without a console is beyond me. But
That's hilarious. This just
Yeah.
goes to show, man. Like that game had a ridiculous amount of hype, and it lived up to it like completely.
yeah.
So
And I mean, there are some faults with it, obviously, because no game is 100%
No.
perfect.
no,
But I think the faults are so far and few between that they don't really come into anybody's mind when playing.
yeah,
Because the few of my issues are you know, the weapon durability thing gets fucking annoying after a while, but it's not annoying enough to make me say, well, this game sucks.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know, and I mean, I'm not gonna pull a Polygon CEO or whatever and say, you know, fuck this game because he thought his friend deleted his save file when, you know, I think that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, Zelda. If I were a betting man, I would say Zelda is gonna win.
Yeah, that's my takeaway too. Is that Zelda's gonna come out on top here? That's the memory card's hot take, and I would be okay with that. You know, I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I would love Persona 5 to win, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah,
You know, there's not enough weebs out there.
that's true. They got to get that weeb vote, and they don't have it. I'm sorry to say. All right, guys. Well, that was our hot take on the Game of the Year nominations. We're gonna
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Let
Yeah.
us know what you think. Let us know if you think Persona's gonna win.
Yeah, let us know if you think anything is gonna win. Maybe there'll be some huge mistake. Yeah, there'll be some huge, you know, war or something. War of the games, and it'll never come out.
Maybe Miyamoto will jump over a desk and stab Todd Howard in the eye at the Game of the Year awards, and they'll just shut everything down after that. Maybe they'll maybe EA will buy all the awards.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or here's another option. What if they have, instead of giving out the awards by vote, they do it loot box style?
Oh shit.
That's a good idea, huh?
I hope that never ever happens.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.